Whatever you say is okay.
Okay. Okay, because we could get deep.
Trust me, it's gonna get fucking deep.
Where are the tissues?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking to Earthlings with Lunakye, where we explore the humanism within all of us. Today we welcome our resilient guest, Carly Lind. She's a singer, songwriter, dancer, and content creator. Carly's unapologetic attitude on social media has allowed her to connect to her audience in a truly authentic way. She graduated from Berklee College of Music and has been featured on Armada Music as well as Beatport. Thank you so much for being here today, Carly.
Thanks for bringing me in.
So what are you all about?
Where should we start? So I grew up in Connecticut and most of my family is in New York now. I went to school in Boston at Berklee and then I moved out here to pursue songwriting and singing. And then I just fell into all these other random avenues. So I started dancing when I got out here. I started making content. Yeah, I'm so bad at this. I guess what I'm all about is truly just being unapologetic. I've always been this way. My mom used to just be yourself, who cares? And it really, really stuck with me. It really translated into my art, and getting to go to a college for music with all types of people from around the world really was cool, and that helped develop that for sure. So by the time that I got out here, I could just really go for what I wanted and not have so many people telling me what to do, with me listening. I think there's a good balance of that. I should listen to people, but also go for it and what's in your heart.
Give me an example of what unapologetic means to you.
I'm always extra. I usually show up in just weird, over the top outfits.
I don't know anyone like that.
Yes. I don't know, yesterday I was at a thrift shop with my man and he just was laughing because the pieces that I would pick out, he was like, no one I know could wear those. But I've never thought of it like that. I've just been this is cool and I'm gonna wear it. And then just obviously you wanna be polite, but I'm brutally honest. But then at the same time, I think that's why I've made so many strong relationships out here, because I'll tell you how it is and you can always trust me to just give it to you real. And I've never really said sorry about that. That's just who I am.
Tell us about your upbringing.
So, like I said, I grew up in Connecticut and we were pretty well off. We were middle class. My dad worked for the stock market and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. It was me and my sister, who's 6 years younger. And then I have a half brother and a half sister that are older that didn't grow up in the house. And I loved my parents. They really did give me a great life, but they just they were kind of hot messes. And I'm starting to really realize how effed up my upbringing was. They both were alcoholics, but high functioning. So my dad was always at work, the boss of bosses, and my mom was she was super charming, and she was a Zumba teacher, she was a yoga teacher, she's a dancer. You would never guess that they both were just getting tanked all the time. There was domestic abuse, there was drug abuse, alcohol abuse. A lot of the nights, they would just be fighting, shouting, throwing things at one another. I don't think you would ever know by looking at me that I had to deal with that. I learned how to hide it, really well, which is good and bad, because my go-to is disassociating and trying to move on. So now I just have to learn how to move through feelings a little bit better, because before it was just push it to the side, I have to keep going, whatever. I have to go to school, I have to take this test, it doesn't matter what happened at night, I just have to do it.
So what about music moves you so profoundly?
I think music is just truly my safe house. I can go somewhere else and just completely forget about what is happening in the real world. It's the only time I get to feel emotional.
Is it an escape or is it an outlet into your emotions?
Kind of both. It's an escape for when I need it, but then it's turned into an outlet to just say what I need to say. I think because I hid so many things for so long, I forgot how to feel. And so when I do like sit down, usually by myself, and I write, I kind of have like word vomit. It just like comes out. But yeah, it's definitely helped bring out things that I just have stay hidden.
Are you angry?
I don't think so anymore. I think I'm more sad, like sad girl vibes than angry.
Elaborate.
I think like as a teenager, I was for sure angry, but beneath anger is always like a deeper sadness. Because I've been through so much, it takes a lot for me to be angry. Like even when my dad or my mom died, I wasn't even angry at God or the universe or whatever. I just was like, all right, this is what it is, and you must be having me go through this for some reason, so.
Tell us the story of your parents passing.
So my father was living in Long Island at the time, and he was a recovering alcoholic, so he was like living kind of a town over from my brother. And he was in like a much better place than when I had left him in college. And so he had had a heart attack, and I didn't find out until days later. My mom like didn't want to tell me. And I remember I like picked up the phone. I was in Glendale and I was walking to my yoga class that I was about to teach. And I was like, Dad, why didn't you tell me? Like, why wouldn't you just tell me that you did this and now you're in the hospital? And he was just like, oh, I didn't want to worry you, da da da. And then like the next day, or maybe even after I got out of class, my brother was like, he's going into surgery. And he was having quadruple bypass, which was already like pretty risky because he'd had a heart attack and he's had bypass before. He was in the hospital for a month. Then he just like soon became on life support. And I remember I was waiting tables at the counter. And dude, props to servers because the show must go on. So like I'm getting texts from my sister or my brother, like he's not doing well. And I just like have to just go out to my table and be like, hi, like how do you want your burger? But meanwhile, I like go to the back and I'm just like bawling. And my brother called and he just was like, he's gone. And I don't know that I've like ever, it's just like a different kind of cry. It just like hits you, like it feels like a bomb is going off because you just like you can't even register any of it. So that was Dad. And then my mom was like, what the F? It had been 2 years since he had died. I went home to see my mom because she was telling me that she's having trouble with my sister. I was like, I need to move her out here. We need to get her back on track. And my mom was like, no, I'm coming. I was like, all right. That's like what you want to do. I don't think it's a great idea, but I paid for them to drive across the country, and I was like 23 years old, like funding their trip. From day one, it was a wreck. She like lost the apartment that she was in. I'm like trying to breathe. So Chloe my sister ended up going to her boyfriend's, and my mom ended up like going into this one lady's house. Like she stayed there for a little while, but she was like, I don't like this lady. So then I was like, all right, well, I'm sleeping on a couch right now because you guys told me you wanted to get a place together. So I don't have anywhere for you to sleep. So I guess you're gonna have to sleep in your car. I thought it was gonna be like, a month, 3 months, we'll get you on your feet. Obviously, I don't want you sleeping in your car. That's terrible, but like, what am I supposed to do? And it had like ended up being a full year. And I didn't know that she was like just progressively getting worse with drinking. And I was at work. I'd just gotten to work. And this cop called me and he was like, hey, so I found your mother. She's in her car and she has passed. So I was like, should I come? Like, should I not? And he just was like, no, I don't think you should see her like this. I still don't even know like the specific reason why she died. They had done like a toxicology report and they were like, oh, we're still trying to figure out. And this was like 6 months down the line. So I was like, all right, we're just gonna wrap it up and say that it was probably heart failure. I just gave up calling, to be honest.
You mentioned in a video, I have nothing to lose. I have this fuck it energy, you said. Can you describe what this means?
I just feel like because I lost like every single person that meant anything to me, like who cares anymore? I don't know, I don't care what anyone thinks. Like life is so short. Why would I care about all this like silly noise? I just want to make myself happy and do what I feel like I'm supposed to like be on this earth for. And I think like half of the world spends so much time caring about what everyone else thinks of themselves, and it's such a waste of energy to me. Like especially now that I've seen how short life is, I'm just like, why wouldn't I try to do like music or anything that I truly, truly want to do?
Is not caring what people think about you something you put energy into because at one point you heavily cared what others thought of you?
I mean, I never like heavily cared, but as an artist, like even as a dancer, you get like self-conscious in class. So I felt like half of my training was just trying to forget how to care about what people in the room think so that you can truly be vulnerable. And so instead of like having to go through that whole thing every single time I get up on stage or go to class or write a song or go into the studio, I just like already have that lifestyle now, and I feel like I can be authentic faster because I used to go into like writing sessions and I'd get all like nervous because I cared what people thought of like what I looked like or what I sounded like or what ideas I came up with. But the minute I stopped caring, the more I was like booking jobs and writing better, and I had like a different kind of confidence. Like it was freeing. It is freeing.
If you were to never make it as an artist, but you were also to never give up the pursuit, would you die happy?
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I really just want to be happy, and making music makes me happy. It like feeds my soul. Like I just want to feel that feeling that I get when I write a song or go perform all the time. That's like really, it's like the natural high.
Can you describe to me, as best you can, what that feeling is?
It's almost like I always describe music like my longest relationship, like my longest love interest, because I don't know how to explain it. It's like love. Like every time I finish a song or I'm in the studio and I'm like making art, it's like nirvana for me. And like it's you just go to that like zone and you can just release, not even just escape, you just get to release and it feels great.
What makes you cry?
I guess it just depends. Ever since my parents died, I just have so much more compassion. So like I will be that person bawling in a theater. Like if someone loses someone, that makes me cry for them. I don't know, just like seeing people hurt makes me cry. Thinking about old memories makes me cry. Just like all the pain and the hurt in the world.
Do you believe that life is working for you?
I don't want to say it's like almost like you're going through a test, but I just feel like all these things that have been thrown at me have never really been to break me. Like they can be breaking, but I feel like they've just made me stronger and like pushed me to the place that I really am supposed to go. So in a way, like I think it's all supposed to happen for a reason in a specific way. I don't know, otherwise I would just be wandering around like a total nomad. So at least like that pain has given me a direction.
Are you perfect or are you imperfect?
Oh, imperfect all day. Like total perfectionist, but I'm so imperfect.
Well, I don't mean perfectionist.
But like, I mean, well, I guess you could look at it two different ways. Do I think I'm perfect? Like, am I happy in my own skin? No. Like, I feel like I'm still evolving and I still have work to be put in, but I do love myself.
Is the world imperfect or is it perfect?
I guess, again, it's like how you look at it.
How do you look at it?
I think we're imperfect. I think we all have things to work on.
Is there perfection within that imperfection, though?
I don't know. Is there? Like, I guess it just depends on what your definition of perfect is, but we're all so fucked up. Like, how would we ever be perfect? It leaves you nowhere to go, nowhere to grow, and then we wouldn't even need each other if we were perfect. Right?
It's very subjective, yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to say. But like, I just know, even when I'm at my healthiest, I'm still like, dude, you have some issues to work through. And I really wish like everyone could be on that page so we could like all continue to just push each other.
How did you become aware of your mother's unhealthy habits at a young age and avoid following in her footsteps? Do you have an innately internal strength that maybe she did not?
Yes and no. Should I talk about this? I think just like, well, I don't know if you believe in the Enneagrams, but I'm an 8, so I'm like a go-getter. And I just think like from a young age, I just was a motivated person. I mean, they wouldn't even tell me to do my homework, and I still was a straight A student. I just did it because I wanted to do it. And growing up with that, I feel like there's two options. You either watch your parents, and that's like your first experience as to what a relationship of like a person and a drug could be, or you could be like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. And that's like me and my older brother look at it that way, where we're just like, I learned everything on what not to do from my parents. They were great. Thank you for being great teachers. And I think like even when I dabbled in drugs myself, there was a moment where I was like, I don't think you should be doing this anymore. Like it's probably not it for you. But had I not had this like thing, this like feeling, I would have just been like down the wrong path and like in a halfway house.
What are you thinking about right now?
I mean, nothing really. Just how excited I am to be. I just like haven't really been asked these questions, so it's funny to like outside of like a one-on-one friend conversation. So it's funny to like say it out loud and talk about it.
This is the final and most important question as it relates to the Talking to Earthlings series, and that is, what does it mean to be human?
Well, I guess this is going back to like the imperfect question. I just feel like we're all flawed, and we all need each other, no matter how much we try to tell ourselves we don't. And I've learned over time that love is just so important because, yeah, it's just, you need it, we need it, and I just like love being alive. I feel like it's such a gift, it's such a cool experience to be able to like be here and, I don't know, just experience all of these weird, awesome things. That's what it means to be human to me.
Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate you coming on the show. You have helped to remind us all what it means to be human. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for letting me kind of dive deeper into it. I like really appreciate it. Hey guys, so you can find me on social media under Queen Carly, 2 Ys, or Carly Lynn across the board. I will be releasing a song in March, so make sure to follow me and keep up with that. Carly Lynn on Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, everything.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that episode. As a reminder, we've created Talking to Earthlings to have raw and honest conversation with one another in an effort to unite human beings who may not agree ideologically, but who can be inspired by one another's vulnerabilities. By watching our show, you are helping us accomplish our goal of changing the world, one conversation at a time. Make sure to follow us on socials to stay updated. Thanks.